Hello and welcome to the Insync Insurance podcast. I'm your host Dawn Cross, and today we'll be discussing the danger of doing home beauty treatments and video-only learning. Here today we have guest Lola Campbell from Eclipse Beauty to discuss today's topic. Okay, so my first question is, could you please introduce yourself and what you get up to?
Yeah, so my name is Lola Campbell. I'm one of the co-owners here at Eclipse School of Beauty. I'm currently in the fourth year of our businesses. So we have 4 locations currently over the country. So we've got Hertford in Hertfordshire, Brentwood in Essex, Bexley Heath, South East London, borderline Kent, and then Ashford in Kent. So I help run the day-to-day of the business and sort of do most of the boring behind the scenes things. There are a few courses that I do still teach, but I'm more concentrated on quality assurance now. So I make sure that the courses are up to scratch and that we're keeping up with relevant industry information.
Sounds brilliant. So I guess I'd love to know a bit more about your background. Were you an aesthetician yourself?
So I originally did my beauty therapy training in East London College and I started in 2005, believe it or not, just 18 years ago. I started at beauty. I also did little bits of makeup and nails. I then actually moved on to more of the aesthetic side, but more laser, hair removal, tattoo removal, skin peels, microneedling, and then went on to injectables after that. So it's probably been the last 8 years of my career have been more technical, injectable techniques.
Wow, that's very amazing. So you've got like a wealth of knowledge really that you can bring to the table, especially helping run the company as well.
Yeah, so I actually did my teaching degree in 2010. So I've been from the teaching side for a while now. Before that, I did work all over the country. A lot of my career was actually stationed in Selfridges in central London, but I've also worked in Australia and also Germany. So I've done quite a few different things, got a lot of bows to my arrow, but I definitely prefer the teaching side and sharing my knowledge with everyone.
Wow, that sounds amazing. So getting on to what we're here for really, we had a look at a range of topics and we decided to have a look at kind of like the danger of at-home treatments and video learning. So, learning just straight off the internet, which for some profession stuff can be actually really useful and really great, but it may not be the best in terms of beauty and aesthetics. So I guess my first question to you would be, what wouldn't you recommend people try to do at home that really you should probably see a professional person?
So, there are a lot of aesthetic treatments that you can do adapted for home use. For example, microneedling, you can use a 0.25 needle depth to just help to penetrate your serums into the skin at home. However, if you're looking for a more invasive treatment and really get those better clinical results, then you really do need to be going to see a professional. And it's not just, knowing how to and not to do it. It's also having that clinical environment. It's having the full setup. As well as that, it's having, the appropriate waste disposal, sharps disposal, and really actually going to see a professional who knows exactly what they're doing from start to finish. And that goes from consultation to before, during, after the treatment, and the follow-up as well. If you're doing, for example, a 1.5 or 2 millimeter depth for your microneedling and something goes wrong, who do you turn to and ask if that's okay? Or also, what can I do to make this better? And sometimes just not knowing if something that's happened, if you've got a lot of bleeding, if that's normal or not, can make you really panic. And I think it is a useful tool to be able to help maintain your clinical treatments at home, but you definitely can't be doing it on the same level that you can get from a clinical treatment from a professional.
No, definitely. And I think as well as like there could be so many things. It's like, trying to paint your own nails. I know it's not the best analogy, but you may not be going at the right angle, or you can't see things from a literal different point of view. I mean, I personally always paint my nails and then I see that I've missed on the far out corners because you can't see it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And also, to get the best results possible, you go to someone who has based their career on that and has gone and paid the money for the courses and has the experience and has the correct setup and everything in place so that you can receive the best treatment possible. I definitely think that there is a place for at-home treatments, but like I said, on a separate level in a professional setting.
That's brilliant. So I guess my next question would be, what can be the risk of doing, just video learning for a treatment without any practical training?
So video learning is one of my pet peeves. If it's online and only online, there is definitely nowhere near as much quality that you can get for actually going in somewhere and doing it face to face. Most insurance companies won't insure you to do the treatment unless you've had that face to face training for injectables, for example, anyway. And again, there is a place for at-home learning, and it can be used as a great tool, especially follow-ups and advanced techniques or different techniques. But the foundation of any treatment needs to be face-to-face in a reputable training company so that you can keep yourself and your clients safe. I think with training, for example, a lot of people think that you can just, watch a demo video and be able to do it. And actually, most people would be able to replicate something that you can just see on a video. But showing someone a treatment and teaching someone how to carry out a full course of treatments is completely different. So what we teach here at Eclipse is from the very start to finish, like I was saying before about, the full consultation, who can have it, who can't have it, why can't they have it, when can they have it, how are you going to do this treatment, can the client afford it, what results are they going to get, what results do they want, are the results they want actually achievable, and how are you going to achieve those results, the aftercare, the follow-up, everything around that treatment is so much more. Doing the actual treatment itself is really just the tip of the iceberg. And I could probably show my 7-year-old daughter how to do a lot of treatments, but that doesn't mean she can really do it and she's got any of the knowledge behind it and around it to actually carry out that treatment safely. Because when you are performing treatments and you're not 100% sure what you're doing, you are putting people's health at risk, especially with, bloodborne viruses and cleanliness, hygiene, health and safety, disposal. Having that tool of having the videos at home to revise from is fantastic, but the actual core foundation of the knowledge needs to come from face to face.
No, I definitely agree. And I think you were saying as well, even if it's just like to revise against or to refresh your memory, or just to kind of have a look at things even before you kind of go in for another practical day or something, it sounds a better combination than just learning just straight off a video and then just hoping for the best.
Yeah, and also, even, your training when you go into an academy, you're only going to retain so much information from any course that you go on. So we have an online learning system here at Eclipse, so that after you've completed your course, you've got the online course free for life, just to always refer back to, because it's going to be impossible to always remember everything. And a lot of the time, the questions that you have around a treatment might not come to you on the day. It's actually when you start practicing, and then you've got those videos to then refer back to, and just to confirm that you are doing the right thing. And if you learn, 3 or 4 treatments in the space of a few months, and then you're performing those treatments, you're never going to remember everything you're supposed to. So having that protocol and going back and rewatching the videos is just a fantastic way of keeping up your learning. I think a lot of the time people do panic that they have to learn everything on that one day, and to take that stress away from the students, that's why we have the online learning system, and we also have like support groups, WhatsApp support groups, and Facebook support groups, because helping each other and sharing experiences is again such a good way to learn and to move forward. Because if there's something that I learn in a treatment, then I want to share that with everyone, so that they, if that happens to them, that they know what to do.
That sounds amazing. It's really great that you just want to have that community of helping out each other as well. And it's just absolutely amazing, really, because I know some people, they train up in a certain profession and they're kind of left on their Todd, and it's like, yeah, good luck, see you later. And then you're struggling to find people in your industry and be like, have you ever dealt with this? It's a bit hard to deal with, and having that community straight from the beginning is brilliant.
Yeah, I definitely think it's so much easier. If I know the answer to a question and you ask me, it's easy for me to just answer. But if you don't know the answer to a question, where do you even begin to find out that answer? And if you've got a community of people helping each other, you're all going to be better and stronger together. So there's no reason why you shouldn't and you can't, help and support each other. This industry is fast growing, and every day there's more and more clients, which means we need more and more therapists, which means we need more and more courses. So there is definitely always going to be a place for everyone in the industry.
That's brilliant. So I guess moving on, you touched on this briefly as well in the last question, but would you be able to talk a bit more about what could be the risk of doing maybe at-home treatments, or just kind of DIYing it yourself, or maybe not going on a proper course before trying to attempt something?
Yeah, so I think the main complications from people doing things themselves at home is using the wrong equipment, and using equipment that might not necessarily be sterile, which can lead to further complications such as post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which is dark marks on the skin, can also lead to scarring. This could also lead to things like infection if if aftercare isn't followed. Then you're at risk of infection. And it's all the small things, when you watch a treatment online, can you really see what they're doing? Does it look different online? So we'll just take an example, say dermaplaning, for example. You can buy a dermaplaning blade anywhere. You can get one for 50p off eBay if you wanted to, but actually, when you go on the course, you're taught where to buy these sterile blades from, how to use them, and at what angle. So it's even different when you're doing it, to yourself in the mirror. But if you're just trying to do it off a video, you can't tell exactly which angles you're supposed to be using. And also, that video is not going to be tailored to you. So if you're in a classroom of people and you've got a tutor there and there's a specific thing or question that you want to ask, they can come over and help you. When you're at home, if you do something wrong, you've got no port of call, you've got no one to ask at all. And actually just something as simple as dermaplaning, for example, to change the angle when you come around the jawline. If you're just watching a video and you don't know exactly what they're doing, you don't see that happen, you could really cut all your skin along your jawline. And then you've got the complication of bleeding, and do you have the right equipment to actually deal with that bleeding? And then what happens to the swabs that you've then got on the blood, and are you going to cross-contaminate that with someone else? And then where is that blade going? Are you going to put that in your kitchen bin where your kids put their rubbish in? It just goes on and on, really. Another big thing about online learning is that there are so many different techniques for every treatment that we do, especially internationally. You do start to get confused about what is right and what is wrong. And then you start to think, okay, well, this person did it like this on that video, but that person did it like that on that video. So is this right? Is that right? And then you do question yourself. So if you're learning a specific technique from a trainer, that is your basic foundation. You get taught how to do it safely, correctly, and with the appropriate hygiene standards. You can then go online and maybe watch some different techniques because you've got that knowledge of that treatment. If you do the whole treatment from scratch online and you just watch YouTube videos, you've got nothing to base that knowledge on. So actually you just get more and more confused, and you'll probably end up going to do a course in the end anyway, because you just don't know what you're doing.
No, I completely agree. And I think as well with anything, there is added risk, whether if you are trying something small, like, I don't know, shaving your eyebrows for the first time, or if it's a bit more complex like dermaplaning, microneedling past a certain length as well. So it's really great as well to hear from a professional, definitely kind of the recommendations. Is I'm not into beauty and stuff, I'm a marketing person, so to learn all this actually is very useful, and hopefully useful for everyone else that listens in that may not be an actual beautician or something themselves. Get to a point where definitely just go to the salon or to a beautician that knows what they're doing, because they paid to know everything and they've trained extensively and everything else. So it's been really great to have all this knowledge right here in this episode. All right, so I guess my last question is there anything else that you'd like to add, either about Eclipse or the content that we've been speaking about on this episode?
I would just encourage everyone to do their research before they do any at-home treatments or online learning or any courses that they want to do. I've been in this industry for a very long time. One of my main reasons for ever starting an academy is because my mum actually got quite badly burnt when she did a treatment. When she had a treatment done, it was actually because the lady doing it wasn't trained properly. So she got a really bad galvanic burn on her nose. And I didn't want anyone else to be hurt. So I was like, right, we need to treat, we need to make sure that these people are trained properly. So I just think that this industry is so reputable if you're going to the right places and you're doing your treatments correctly. And if you actually invest your time and your money in decent training, you will be a fantastic therapist, because a lot of these treatments are, they're not too difficult for you to do if you're training in the right way and if you have the correct post-course support.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely brilliant. That's a good way to round off. Well, thank you very much for coming on today to speak to us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you to my guest today, Lola Campbell, for talking about the danger of at-home beauty treatments and video-only learning. If you'd like more information about Eclipse School of Beauty and Aesthetics, please check out their website at www.eclipse-beauty.com. I have been your host, Dawn Cross, and tune in next week for another episode. Insync is one of the UK's fastest growing insurance providers, offering comprehensive cover for SMEs and the self-employed across the UK. Our expert team can tailor your insurance to meet your individual business needs and compares prices from our Lloyd's of London approved partners. We offer a 5-star service and have been FIFO Platinum Trusted winners 3 years in a row.